Ooh, okay, this one is one of my favorites. One of my favorites, and it gets me so excited every single time. And that's, how can I make my small space feel bigger? Bigger. I'm gonna tell you, and it's actually super easy. Well, hello and welcome. My hair got stuck to my face. Hello, my loves, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new, my name is Juju, and I make weekly videos about interior design and lifestyle vlogs. So I actually was very indecisive about what video I was gonna make this week. I couldn't quite figure it out. So I started Googling what are the top 10 most asked interior design questions. And I got quite a list, and I decided that that's what today's video is going to be about. We're going to cover the top 10 most commonly asked interior design questions. So let's talk about it. Here are the answers to 10 of the most commonly asked interior design questions. Lego. You can probably guess it. The top question is one that you probably have asked before. This is something that all of my interior design clients ask me about, and that is,
how do I find my design style?
How do I find my design style? You know, I actually have that question even still. You know why? Because it's ever evolving. I don't think anyone ever just comes to a standstill about what their design style is, because there's always variety and new things coming out, and you learn about different things that interest you. So I would say that you're always figuring out your design style. But to give you a more concrete answer, here are some steps that you can take to get a better idea of what your style is. The first thing I always tell my clients if they have questions about their interior design style is to go on Pinterest. Go on Pinterest and select like 20 to 30. I know that seems like a lot, but how badly do you want to know? Do you want to know? Go onto Pinterest and select like 30 different photos that interest you. Get lost in the app and just pull up a list of things that you like. Once you have that list, go through each of the pictures. Why do I always talk with my hands? Why? Once you have that list, I've got to like sit on my hands so I don't use it. Once you have that list, go through it and see if you can find any similarities in the photos. Let's go through it right now. How about that? Let's just go through it. We'll go through my Pinterest board and we'll see what I can find that's similar. We'll do a little exercise. Okay, I'm gonna go to this photo, and I like this. It has all my favorite colors, black, browns, and creams.
Please excuse Wednesday. She's allergic to color.
Oh. I like color, okay? But these are like my staples. I prefer to get neutrals and add colors on top of that. So we're gonna save this. Now let's go to that board, and let's see if we could find commonalities between all the pictures here. So as you can see, I have a lot of neutrals. Go through and see what commonalities you can find. So right now I'm seeing a lot of wood walls. I'm seeing cream, black, and white as the color palette. I'm also seeing pretty neutral walls with pops of color in the art. Let's see what else I'm seeing. I see pattern, I'm seeing brass, and so yeah, again, here's a neutral space with a pop of color on the wall. Overall, I'm seeing a lot of mid-century modern. It's a lot of mid-century, and there's some elements of postmodern here. These chairs are postmodern, but the velvet brings in the luxe look to them. So I would say that my style is luxe mid-century modern with pops of postmodern. Again, neutral walls, pops of colors on the wall, but most of the furniture is some kind of earth tone. And as you can see, I didn't just pick one design style to describe myself. I use a variation of styles. You can use as many styles as you want to describe yourself. I think it's better to say that you fit into multiple categories than to just try to fit into one style, because nobody does. Everyone has a little bit of everything that they like. So don't feel like you have to subscribe to one design style, and make sure that you go onto Pinterest and find the commonalities in the photos that you're drawn to. The second tip to define your design style is experimentation. You want to experiment with a variety of different patterns, types of furniture, colors, orientation of how you place things in the room. Doing that will help you find out what you like and what you don't like. It's kind of like dating. You have to go out and date to find out what you want in a partner and what you don't want in a partner. And the third tip to finding out your design style is figuring out what spaces make you feel good. Does a modern space make you feel like luxe and confident and organized? Is that what you're going for? Or do you want bright spaces to make you feel energetic and happy? So look at these different images of different design styles and figure out which ones make you feel the best and most like you. So the second question that came up a lot was, how do I book clients? Like, how do I become an interior designer? And for all of you out there who are wondering that and how to get your foot in the door and how to get started, you really just have to start. So for example, the best way is to start doing things for free. Design your space, have people over, or go offer to do other people's spaces for free. Once you do that, you can start taking pictures of that and marketing it online. The second option is to do apprenticeships. Do an apprenticeship with a local housing staging company, or find local interior designers in your area. Ask if you can shadow them. Say, hey, I'm interested in getting into interior design. Would you be willing to let me assist you? And a lot of times people need the help and they'll say yeah. So it's an automatic no if you don't ask. So you should just try asking. Another way you can get started is by doing virtual designs. You can use a lot of free platforms online like Milanote. You can use Spoke.com, which is what I do, Photoshop. There's several different online platforms that you can use to design spaces, and just do a couple renders on your own and post them on sites like Upwork or Fiverr, and then say, hey, here's what I can do. Set your prices low to begin with so you can get people coming in, and then you can upcharge. I actually do virtual designs as well. That's one of my favorite things to do because I don't have to leave the house. I don't have to leave the house and I can still design for people, which two of my favorite things. So start that way. Those are 3 ways that you can get your foot in the door and start building clientele. Number 3 was, what do I look for when hiring an interior designer? So if you're going to hire an interior designer, I would say the only thing you need to look for, well, pricing. Are they in your budget? But number 1, you want to look at their portfolio. Most interior designers have a website or some kind of online portfolio where you can look at the work that they've done. Thirdly, you want to look for their reviews if they have one, to see, are they pleasant to work with? Do they get the job done? Do they stay within budget? Things like that. Those are things you should look for when hiring a designer. I don't know what else to say. Number 4 is, what kind of services can I expect from an interior designer? An interior designer can, like we said before, do virtual consults. Okay, I got it. I know how to answer the question. So here is what an interior designer can do. They can give you the inspiration for a space. They can give you a mood board. Say, okay, this is how it should look and feel. Here's like an example. They can do a render. And I'm starting from very minimal to the max. Okay, so first is inspo. Second is a mood board. Third is like a render of the space. And if you don't know what a render is, it's like a mock-up of the exact room with the exact design that they plan to do. They can give you a product list. It's basically doing all the shopping for you. So it's like, okay, here's the design and here are all the products. Here's the links to those products and how much they're going to cost, and it all goes into your budget. Another thing that they can do is actual designing. So they can, move in the furniture, design the space, arrange everything, put it together. Other interior designers go even more in depth, more experienced designers do actual changes to finishes. They can put why am I talking so fast? Other interior designers can do things like finishes. They can put in a new floor for you. They can knock down a wall or two. They can do, like the crown molding and actual structural changes to your home. So yeah, that is a variety of the things that an interior designer can do for you. Ooh, okay, this one is one of my favorites. It's one of my favorites, and it gets me so excited every single time. And that's, how can I make my small space feel bigger? I'm gonna tell you, and it's actually super easy. One of the key things to do when you want to make your small space feel bigger is paint it white, or some kind of off-white or like bright kind of color. This is because those colors reflect the sun a bit more. They're more open and airy, or they make your space feel more open and airy. Darker colors make your space feel more closed in. Like, I don't recommend painting your room a dark color unless you have tons of light in there. Otherwise, it can literally feel like a hole in the wall. So bright colors, maybe super light gray, but really whites and like off-whites is the key to making a small space feel bigger. Other things I would suggest is like bigger furniture or mid-size furniture. Just don't get a bunch of small little tic-tac looking pieces of furniture and placing them in the room. It's just gonna make it look cluttered and like a little tiny dollhouse. It's not gonna look nice. Don't do that, okay? Please, just get like mid-sized furniture and arrange it according to the space. But just don't get something that's like super miniature, because that's gonna make your space feel smaller. Other little tips is like placing your curtains higher up. That's gonna make the walls look taller. Yeah. What else? Lighting. Getting the proper lighting in the room can make it feel brighter and bigger. Yeah, I don't know. Those are a few things you can do. So number 6 is, how do I choose a wallpaper for my room? You should factor in a few different things when you're picking wallpaper. I would say the biggest thing are the unmovables in your room that you have to work around. So for example, look at the flooring in your room. Like, what color is it? How can I complement things that are in my home with the paper that I choose? Where is it gonna be? Like, do you want it to be a calming space? If so, you don't want anything that's too busy and bold and like, right in your face, So just factor in, like, how do you want your space to feel? What are the unchangeables in the room, and how can you get wallpaper to complement what's already in the room? I would also say, if you want to pick a wallpaper, just go ahead and get samples. I have a sample right now because I'm doing peel and stick wallpaper in my living room. Just put it up there and leave it there for a week or two. See how it looks with the light reflected in your room. See how it looks in the morning, see how it looks in the evening, see how it bounces and complements the other furniture that you already have in the space. So yeah, that's how I would go about picking wallpaper. Number 7 is probably my favorite. Outside of number 5, which was how to make your small space feel bigger, I would say my next favorite question is this question, number 7, which is, how can I divide my space? So if someone says, hey, I have an open concept, or hey, I live in a studio apartment and it's one big space, how do I make it into 2 different rooms? How do I do that? This is how you do it. Room dividers. So number 1, a room divider, and there are several different kinds of room dividers. So you have your bookshelf, like the little infamous IKEA shelving. You can do like curtains, like if you're in a studio, but those aren't like my favorite. I like a good shelf. Or some kind of like glass partition. Keeping it elegant, keeping it see-through, I'll put up a few examples. Like something like this is probably one of my favorite kinds of partitions for separating a space. But you can really get creative with it. Number 2, I would say you can separate your space with furniture, actually. Like if you were to place your furniture facing away, so like put your couch in the middle of the room, essentially is what I'm saying. Put it in the middle of the room and face it towards the living room. And that already feels like its own separate space. Of course, you want to make sure you have a rug, because rugs always define the space, but you definitely want to, you definitely can separate a space with your furniture placement. So just be clever about how you're putting things in the room. Not everything goes against the wall all the time. And you'll be surprised on how more divided but yet still open it feels when you do that. The third way that you can separate your space is with paint or wallpaper. Just painting one room can make a huge difference and make it feel like 2 separate spaces. For example, I have an open concept living room, dining room area. So what I'm going to do is, what you guys will be seeing really soon, make sure you turn on your notifications so you don't miss it. I'm going to put wallpaper on my dining room, and it's really going to help to make the spaces feel separate. Now, I already have my furniture in my living room facing away from the dining room, which is good, check. But I also want to go a step further and put wallpaper on the living room area to make it feel like its own space. I'm going to put a rug over there and also define the space that way as well. So let's make the rug another point. Let's check for rug. Check rug. Rugs help define spaces, and so they also,
what the hell are you talking about?
Help to separate the space. You guys, why am I out of breath? Let's just stop and talk about that. Why do I feel like I can't breathe? Okay, this is not good. Maybe it could be this like candy that I've been eating. It's full of salt. It's full of salt. And it's not good for you. I can't help it. It's so good. It's like my body is screaming stop, or my mouth is like, please don't stop, you know? Oh, I just had an idea. In my lifestyle vlogs, I could do like a weight loss journey. Because you guys, I want to lose weight, but I just am not motivated. So maybe like recording my weight loss journey with you guys will keep me accountable. Put in the comments if you'd like to see that. We're back. I think that was the end of that question, so let's move on. Number 8 is a fun one, and that's how do I blend my and my partner's style? This kind of goes back to the Pinterest board. I know I keep talking about Pinterest, but it really does help. So I think you guys should create a board together. You guys pick stuff that each of you like, and then find the commonalities in both of your pictures. You can also just sprinkle in little things that each of you like. So let's say he's super farmhouse and like rustic, you know, like a lot of guys are like, okay. So let's say his style is rustic modern and your style is like modern bohemian. So you guys already have the modern in common. So you can really lean into the modern design and then sprinkle in little pieces of each of your interests. Or maybe one room is more one style. Let's say you decide that you want to sacrifice on the living room. So you put a little bit more of the farmhouse in the living room design. But maybe you can put a little bit more of your touches into the bedroom. One key rule I'll say is just don't put anything in your apartment that your partner hates. Like if that's just like, if they're like, ugh, barf, don't want to look at that, don't put it in there. Even if it's something that you love, you want to make sure that they at least don't mind it. Like you don't want to put something that they hate but that you like. So compromise that way. Put little touches of each of your interests in the design and really hone into what makes your designs alike. Or just stay single. Number 9, I'm not going to spend too much time on it because we already kind of touched on it. And this is something that I get asked a lot. And this is also something that I saw a lot when I was searching. And that is, how do I even get started with design. Like, I don't know what to do. I don't know where to start. What do I do? I'm overwhelmed. Yeah. So I can help you. I think, the first thing that I asked all my clients before we get started, when I walk into their space, is I say, how do you want your space to make you feel? Number one question I ask every single time. First thing I do is I have them go on Pinterest. But I really like our first interaction. I say, how do you want this space to make you feel? And what is the purpose of this space? What is it going to be used for? And that's really important to start off because it really just guides you on the right path for the rest of the design. For example, I've had people say, you know, after a really long day of work, I just want to come home and I want to relax. I don't want to think about anything. I just want a serene space where I can unwind. I've also had people say, I want to feel inspired in my space. Okay, this is where I work. I work from home all day and I just want all the brain juices flowing. I want to really feel like I can create in my space. Other people say, I really want a space that's organized for the kids. Like, I want kid-friendly space, a space where they can play, but I can also entertain. There's a million different responses to that, right? And it all will guide you on how to design the space. So, number one question, that is how you get started. Figure out what the space is going to be used for, and then everything else falls into place from there. And lastly, number 10 is, how do I find affordable furniture? Well, that's easy. You can figure that out in this video right here. Yeah, right here. Go ahead and click on it. Go ahead, click on it. Find out. Save some money. All right, guys, that's it. I love you all so much, and I'll see you next week. What are you still doing here? Click on the video.